بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب يسر ولا تؤسر وتمم بالخير لا نزال ندرس الدرس الثالث وإن شاء الله نكمل اليوم. So we are doing lesson number 3 and inshallah we will complete it today hopefully. We have a new idea in this lesson which is about passive voice. So first of all, we have seen in the previous exercises that the doer is al-fa'il is al-dhahir, like we know the fa'il, the doer. For example, خلق الله الأرض, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the earth, or خلق الله الإنسان, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created human beings, and if we just use it in passive, we will say خلق الإنسان, خلق الإنسان, man was created, or خلقت الأرض, the earth was created. But here in this part of the lesson, we have مفعول به is attached pronoun. The attached pronoun is in the place of مفعول به. سأله المدرس. So we need to know two things about مفعول به when it is the attached pronoun. Number one, we can see that the attached pronoun comes before the file, before the doer. And this is one of the rare situations where the object comes before the file, and before the doer. So here we can see سأله المدرس, the teacher asked him. Now, what is مفعول به? Who, which is the attached pronoun. Now, the attached pronoun, when it becomes naibul file, then how are we going to use it as naibul file? So what happens here now? Here, as we can see, it becomes su'ila, he was asked. So what happens? Here, naibul file is basically huwa, and huwa is called ad-damiru al-mustatiru, yani the hidden pronoun. So sa'alahu al-mudarrisu, the teacher asked him, but when we want to use that attached pronoun as naibul file, then what we have to do, we have to see, or we have to say that the hidden damir will be the naibul file. So when we say su'ila, naibul file will be huwa, yani huwa su'ila, and su'ilat will be hiya, yani hiya su'ilat. In other words, now we have to use the conjugation. So like su'ila, su'ila, su'ilu, and it goes up to the last one, su'ilna. So that's why now it will be very handy if we can memorize the conjugation of the passive, like we memorized the conjugation for the active, like nasara, nasara, nasaru, and to the end, like nasarna. And similarly, inshallah, if we can memorize one conjugation for the past and one for the present, that will help us a lot. So is this idea clear now here? That when the attached pronoun is maf'ul bihi, then the hidden pronoun will be naibul fa'il. The idea is when the attached pronoun is maf'ul bihi, the naibul fa'il will be the hidden damir or ad-damiru al-mustatiru. Now let's see over here. تأمل ما يلي, reflect on the following. أسألك المدير عن الغياب. Did the manager ask you about the absence? So Hamzat al-istifham, sa'ala, he asked. Who asked? Al-mudiru. So the file is al-mudir, and what is the maf'ul or maf'ul bihi? Ka, right? As'alaka al-mudiru. Anil-ghiyabi is called, it's like extra information. We know jar majroor, shibhu jumla. So did the manager ask you? So here we know that the manager is the file and ka is maf'ul bihi. But here, as we can see here, now we have to use the hidden damir, which is basically ta. Asu'ilta anil ghiyabi. What you asked about the absence. So asu'ilta anil ghiyabi. What you asked about the absence. And here we have the same information. إذا كان المفعول به ضميرا. If مفعول به is a pronoun, utiya bi damir al-raf'i. Okay, ata means to come, right? Ata bi to bring. Utiya bi means it is brought. So utiya bi damir raf'i, then we have to bring in, or the pronoun of the status of rafa is brought, liyahilla, to take mahallahu, its place. Li, what kind of li is this?
Lam Talil.
Lam Talil. Why do you say that? Because it's mudari and it is mansoob. Okay. Liyahilla
is also used for explanation.
Yes, in order to so that liyahilla mahallahu, so that it takes its place. So that it takes its place. Kama yattadihu, as it is clear, min al-jadwalayn at-taliyayn, as it is clear from the following two tables. So we have two tables. Jadwal al-fi'l al-madi, the first one is of the past tense and the second one will be of the present tense. So here we have al-fi'l al-mabniyu lil-ma'lum, active voice, and here we have al-fi'l al-mabniyu lil-majhul, a passive voice, and here we have na'ib al-fa'il. Sa'alahu al-mudarrisu, the teacher asked him, and su'ila, he was asked. So basically, who here has been replaced by huwa. Yani ad-damir al-mustatir, huwa, he was asked. So su'ila, when we say su'ila, he was asked, now it's a complete sentence. And we will say that naib al-fa'il is damirun mustatirun, the hidden fa'il or the hidden pronoun. And here, sa'alahum, and we know that when mim is sakin, we connected with dhamma, with al. Sa'alahum al-mudarrisu, the teacher asked them. So it will be basically hum su'ilu, they were asked. And when we say su'ilu, we will say that waw, and this is called waw al-jama'a. This waw is the naibul fa'il. So if you can memorize the conjugation now, this idea will be very clear, that su'ila, su'ilu to the end. Then we have sa'alaha al-abu, the father asked her, and for the feminine it will be su'ilat, she was asked. So in su'ilat also it is damirun mustatirun, the hidden pronoun. What will be the hidden pronoun?
Here.
Here, excellent, here. Very good. Here. Sa'alahunna al-abu, the father asked them, referring to the ladies, hunna, and su'ilna, they were asked, and here nu is naibul fa'il. Similarly, we have sa'alaka al-mudarrisu, the teacher asked you, su'ilta, you were asked, and at-ta'u is basically, here as we can see, at-ta is naibul fa'il. Sa'alakum al-mudarrisu, the teacher asked you all, referring to all masculine, and su'iltum, you were asked. Antum su'iltum yani. So tum is basically here naibul fa'il. Sa'alaki al-abu, you were asked, your father asked you, and su'ilti, you were asked for the singular feminine, anti su'ilti. And at-ta'u, as we can see here, is the naibul fa'il. Sa'alakunna al-abu, the father asked you all ladies, yani antunna su'iltunna, antunna su'iltunna, and tunna is here is naibul fa'il. You all ladies were asked. Sa'alani al-mudarrisu, the teacher asked me, and su'iltu, I was asked, and ta is naibul fa'il. And sa'alana al-mudarrisu, the teacher asked us, and su'ilna, we were asked, and na is naibul fa'il, as we can see here. Again, in these conjugations, the Sheikh has not discussed the dual, but inshallah, when we do the conjugation, we will also carry on with the dual as well, so that it becomes easier for us, because we go with the 14 forms of the verb, whereas with this it will be the 10 forms of the verb. So the main idea here is that whenever will be he is the attached pronoun, then the attached pronoun, when it becomes naibul fa'il, the naibul fa'il will be hidden and it will not be apparent. So here, this is what we did when we started our journey of learning Arabic in the beginning. And if you remember that I told you that we will do two things. We will also do some memorization, and we will also do the exercises from the book. And both of these, because every knowledge that we are getting, we have to do some memorization. Without memorization, there is no knowledge. So that's why we have to memorize at least one conjugation, which is passive verb conjugation of the past, and one conjugation of the present. And based on this, we can do many conjugations for many verbs. Almost for every verb, we can do the same conjugation. So it's like nusira, nusira, nusiru, nusirat, nusirata, nusirna, nusirta, nusirtuna, nusirtum, nusirti, nusirtuma, nusirtunna, nusirtu, and nusirna. It takes less than a minute, in fact, 20 to 25 seconds. So similarly, you can do now doriba, you can also do for sumia, and you can also do for the rest of the verbs, utila, whatever verb you take. Based on this conjugation, you can memorize several verbs and you can do several conjugations. It will save your time, and it will also save your energy. For example, I was helped, nusirtu. You were helped, nusirta. We were helped, nusirna. So once we know the conjugation, inshallah, it will be much easier. Now we have the second table, which is Jadwalul Fi'l al-Mudari. And now this is the schedule. Jadwal basically schedule, almost similar to how we say it in English. Jadwalul Fi'l al-Mudari. So here we have the active, here we have the passive, and here we have Naib al-Fa'il. Now we have the same idea. The only thing is, this is present tense now. Yes, Yas'alahu al-Mudarrisu. The teacher asked him, and Yus'alu. What will be the translation?
He was asked.
He is, I knew it.
He is.
Yes.
He is asked.
The reason why I was quiet, because I knew that because we were used to the past tense. So Yus'alu, he is asked. Yes, he is asked. Yeah, and Damir al-Mustatirun. That's why when we are learning Arabic, we have to be aware of everything that is happening, because so many things are happening at the same time. So here we have the hidden pronoun, which is huwa. And the same idea, yas'aluhumul mudarrisu, the teacher asked them, and yus'aluna, they are asked. And here, waw is naib al-fa'il. Similarly, yas'aluha al-abu, the father asked her, and tus'alu, she is asked. And damir al-mustatirun, also here, we have the hidden pronoun. So in two cases we have seen in the past, the hidden pronoun comes only in two cases, the first and the fourth. But in the Mudari, it comes in 6 cases. As you can see here, huwa ad-damir al-mustatir, hiya ad-damir al-mustatir, and yas'aluhunna al-abu, and hunna yus'alna, they are asked, and here it is known. And yas'aluka al-mudarrisu, the teacher asked you, and anta tus'alu, you are asked, and here again we have damirun, mustatirun, the hidden pronoun. So yus'alu, huwa yus'alu, and hiya tus'alu, she is asked, and anta tus'alu, you are asked. So here the damir is, the pronoun is hidden. Similarly, we have yas'alukumul mudarrisu, the teacher asks all of you, and tus'aluna, yani antum tus'aluna, you are asked, referring to the masculine. And here waw is naib al-fa'il, and yas'aluki al-abu, the father asks you, and tus'alina, anti tus'alina, right? And here ya is naib al-fa'il, anti tus'alina. Then we have yas'alukunna al-abu, and it is antunna, and it will be antunna tus'alna, you are all asked, referring to the ladies. And here we have noon. And then we have yas'aluni al-mudarrisu, the teacher asks me, and us'alu, I am asked, and here again damir is mustatir, and yas'aluna al-mudarrisu, the teacher asks us, nus'alu, yani nahnu nus'alu, we are asked, again here damir is mustatir. So the idea is the same, that we have to get used to the passive form as well. And once, inshallah, again, we memorize the conjugation of the passive for the present tense. Now I know that there is lots of information in one lesson, but you don't really need to worry a lot about it. You can take your time and you can memorize the past tense conjugation once. And once you master it, then you can start memorizing the present tense conjugation. And the reason why we are doing it now all together, because this is how the Sheikh has given them in the lesson. So we can follow the lesson, but at the same time, we can follow our own schedule. Yunsaru, yunsarani, yunsaruna, tunsaru, tunsarani, yunsarna, tunsaru, tunsarani, tunsaruna, and tunsarina, tunsarani, tunsarna, unsaru, and nunsaru. One thing that you have to please remember that whenever you are memorizing a conjugation, don't memorize it without the meaning. Because without the meaning, memorization is easier. And once you get used to it, then the translation method becomes difficult. So at least once, for the first time when you are writing it, write it down and write it down with the meaning. Yani yunsaru, he is helped. Yunsarani, they both are helped. And yunsaruna, they all are helped. So once you write it with the meaning, inshallah, then you will never forget it. And now straight away we have the exercise Ayyin Naib al-Fa'ili fi ma ya'ti. Now we have to look for the Naib al-Fa'il. وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. The reason why I have written here the translation so that we get used to the translation as well. And when the girl who was buried alive is asked, for what sin she was killed. So here su'ilat is translated as present and here it is translated as past. Whereas both of them, su'ilat and qutilat, both of them are for the past. So why the first one is present and the second one is past? I told you that when we use idha with the past, it gives the meaning of present. Idha jaa nasrullah, when the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has arrived. So with idha, it will be translated as present. This is idea number one. And the sentence number two starts, بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ, for what sin she was killed. This is the second part of the sentence. So that's why idha doesn't have any impact on it. So the combination of idha plus past tense gives the meaning of present tense. That's number one. Number two, where is the naib al-fa'il? In su'ilat and qutilat, where is naib al-fa'il? Yes?
Here.
Here, excellent. So su'ilat and here and qutilat also here in both of them, because if you remember we have discussed that the hidden pronoun will be the naib al-fa'il. وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَنْ يُقْتَلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتٌ. And I'm not following the rules of the tajweed because we need to focus on the grammatical aspects. So that's why when we stop, it has to be amwat. But if we don't stop, then we will say amwatun. Never say that those martyred in the cause of Allah are dead. Yuqtalu. So what about here? Damir mustatir, right? Yani huwa yuqtalu. But here if you see, translation is those, because man is a very comprehensive word, and it is used for singular and it is also used for plural, depending on the context. Whenever it is man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhiri, it refers to someone whoever believes in Allah in the day of judgment. But in the Quran, sometimes it is used in the context of plural, and sometimes it is used in the context of the singular. وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَنْ يُقْتَلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتٌ. So yuqtalu, here again, it is huwa. وَلَا تُسْأَلُونَ عَمَّا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. And you will not be asked about what they used to do. عَمَّا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Yes, excellent. أَنْتُمْ تُسْأَلُونَ. You will not be asked. Excellent. لَا يُسْأَلُ عَمَّا يَفْعَلُ وَهُمْ يُسْأَلُونَ. he is not questioned about what he does, but they will be questioned. And sometimes it is translated as future as well. وَهُمْ يُسْأَلُونَ يُسْأَلُ
هو
هو
هو يسأل.
and يُسْأَلُونَ
واو الجمع.
wow, okay. Yes, wow al-jam, yes. Okay. And then we have the verses. أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت. So here we have خلقت, رفعت, نصبت, and سطحت. All of them feminine.
Here.
Singular, here. Yes, here. Okay, so all of them. So al-ibil, what is the meaning of ibil? Ibil is basically used for the camels. For the feminine, it is naqatun, and for the masculine, it is jamalun. And when we talk about the race of the camels, referring to all the camels, whether masculine and feminine, then the whole race of the camels will be called ibil. So that's why it is khuliqat, because it is broken plural. As-samau also, we know that this is feminine because the Arabs they used it as feminine. And similarly, jibal is the plural of jabal. That's why here it is feminine. And ard is also feminine. We have discussed about it many times that ard is also feminine. So that's why it is sutihat. When they do not look at the camels, how they are created. So basically, it's a question being asked about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all these, and still people don't believe in that. And at the sky, how it is raised. Rafa'a yarfa'u. Do you remember the word Rafa'a yarfa'u? Marfu'an. Yes? Marfu'. And then we have وَإِلَى الْجِبَالِ كَيْفَ نُصِبَتْ نَصَبَ يَنْسِبُ. We have the word mansub, right? Nasibun or mansubun. So this is the word here. And the mountains, how they are erected. وَإِلَى الْأَرْضِ كَيْفَ سُطِحَتْ سَطَحَ يَسْطَحُ. To spread out something, and the earth, how it is spread out. Now you have to make ibn al-af'ala fil jumal al-atiyati lil majhul. Now we have to make the passive from the following verbs, or from the following sentences. Okay, amma sa'alaka al-mudiru. Amma, so it's basically amma sa'alaka al-mudiru, but we know that when we use it as a question, then alif will be dropped. And amma sa'alaka al-mudiru, what did the manager ask you about? Ka will be changed into ta. Amma su'ilta. Amma su'ilta, what were you asked about? Okay, now another thing that we need to know about the passive in Arabic. Like in English, we say, I was helped by my friend. We have to use by someone, but in Arabic, it's not necessary. In fact, it's very uncommon to use the expression of by. Here, we only use, or only the passive form is used of the verb, and it is not used by who the action was done. We have only one example, like we have discussed earlier. خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ طِينٍ. خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ طِينٍ. Human was created from clay. So if we need to use by whom the thing was done, then we have to use min. So it will be basically amma su'ilta min al-mudiri, if you want to complete it. But if you say amma su'ilta, that is perfect. What were you asked about? Amma su'ilta, what were you asked about? Then we have qatalahum al-mujrimu bil-musaddasi. The criminal killed them by a pistol. Yes, Muhammad Anwar? قتلوا بالمسدس. Musaddasi, yeah. They were killed by the pistol. Okay. لا يسألهم أحد عن سبب تأخرهم. No one asked them about the reason of their delay. Whom
لا يسألوا
لا يسألون. Yeah, يسألون عن سبب تأخرهم. Yeah, they won't be asked about the reason of their delay. They won't be asked about the reason of their delay. لما أخذكم المراقب إلى المدير? Why did the invigilator or the controller took you to the manager? Why did the controller took you to the, or why did the controller take you to the manager?
لما أخذتم إلى المدير.
Excellent. لما أخذتم إلى المدير. Perfect. لما أخذتم إلى المدير. Why were you taken to the manager? ضربنا الرجل بالعصا. The man hit us by the stick.
ضربنا بالعصا.
Excellent. ضربنا بالعصا. We were hit by the stick. Okay, here now we know that whenever there is a weapon, whether it is a saw or any kind of gun or anything, then with the weapon we always use ba. Like قتلت الحية بالعصا. The snake was killed by a stick. And similarly here we have bil musaddasi. But if ba is not there, then we have to use min. Sarrani al khabaru. The news made me happy.
سررت الخبر.
Okay, excellent. سررت من الخبر. Yeah, I was, or سررت is enough, yeah. Or you will say سررت الخبر. Or الخبر. لا, سررت الخبر, that's right, yeah. And because here ta is the doer, نائب الفاعل, and الخبر will be مفعول به, that's right. سررت الخبر. Or you will say سررت من الخبر. If you want to use like I was amazed by the, or I was happy by the news, or the news made me happy, then it will be سررت will be enough. And we can also say سررت من الخبر. The news made me happy. Exercise number 10. استخرج من الدرس الأفعال المبنية للمجهول. Now we have to extract استخرج on the pattern of استغفر. So من الدرس الأفعال المبنية للمجهول, the passive verbs from the lesson. واذكر نائب فاعل كل واحد منها, and then you have to mention the نائب الفاعل for each of the verbs. So that's the exercise that you can do by yourselves whenever you have enough time. You can simply sit there, like we have futiha, and similarly we have yuftahu, suriqa, and there are many other verbs, wulida, wulidtu, qutila, tuqra'u, all of them, inshallah. I'm sure you can do them by yourselves. يوجه المدرس. وجه يوجه توجيها. To direct someone towards something, towards a direction. But here يوجه المدرس, the teacher asks إلى كل طالب هذا السؤال. The teacher asks each of the students this question. في أي عام ولدت? In which year were you born? فيجيب الطالب, and the student answers. يجيب. أجاب. يجيب. قائلا, saying. Okay, قائلا, saying. This is another form of حال. We haven't discussed about this. I think it's in like lesson number 27 or 28. So this is the second type of hal. In lesson number 2, we have learned about waw al-hal, and this is another type of hal. قائلا, saying. ولدت عام كذا للهجرة للميلاد. And again, باديا, by starting بالعدد الأدنى, from the lowest or from the smallest number. So قائلا and باديا. بدأ يبدأ فهو بادئ, and mansub will be بادئا, by starting from the adna. You know adna is on the pattern of af'alu, and it is used for feminine, something that is the lowest. So you have to give the answer about which year you were born by saying the lowest number. Again, you can talk about yourselves. You can write it down, and then you can talk about this as well. تحذف. Now I'm sure you can figure out. Is it active or passive? تحذف, is it active or passive? Passive, okay. تحذف الألف واللام. Alif lam is dropped. من العلم, from the proper noun. Al-alam, we know that alam means proper noun. Al-muqtarin, the connected. Bihima عند النداء, when it is connected by حرف نداء. So when we use حرف نداء with proper noun, then al will be dropped, or al is dropped. Nahwu, for example, al-hasanu. So I remember in the beginning, Irfan asked me like why there is al with the proper names, and there are very few examples of al with the proper names, and this is called al-zaida. It doesn't have any specific meaning. So, but when you want to call upon Hasan, then you will say Ya Hasanu, or Hasan. When he is right in front of you, you will say Ya Hasanu, and not in his absence. Now here it says Nadil I'lama or Alama. Alam, yes. Alamun in the plural is Alamun. Al-Atiyata. Call out the following proper names. Alamun and the plural is Alamun. Nadi is also Fil al-Amr. Nada yunadi. And it has Mustarain. Munadiyatan. It's on the pattern of Jahada yujahidu mujahadatan. And we know that Jahada yujahidu has two masadar. Do you remember that? Jahada yujahidu mujahadatan wa jihadan. Nada yunadi munadiyatan wa nidaan. Jihadan wa nidaan, on the same pattern. So this verb form has two masdar. So al-Husaynu. Yes, if someone wants to call upon al-Husayn right in front of him, what will he say? Ya Husaynu, right? Ya Husaynu. If you have friend or colleague or brother and you are talking to him, you will say Ya Husaynu. Without referring to Husayn alayhi salam or radiallahu anhu, because we wouldn't call upon him saying Ya Hussein, because we only call upon someone who is right in front of all us, or we call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, we say Ya Allah. But for any other person, we wouldn't call upon him in his absence. Az-Zubayru.
Ya Zubairu.
Ya Zubayru. Al-Harithu.
Ya Harithu.
Ya Harithu. Al-Bara'u.
Ya Bara'u.
Ya Bara'u. Okay, yes. An-Nasabu. Nasab is basically used for kinship or lineage, and we have also discussed about nisbah, like attribution. So a nasab is basically attribution of someone towards a family. So ilhaqu ya'in mushaddadatin, alhaqa yulhiqu ilhaqan, to connect. So connecting ya mushaddada fi akhir al-ismi, at the end of the noun, litadulla. Again, this is lamu talil, and that's why it is mansoob here. Litadulla, it means to guide or to indicate or to denote. To guide, we will say. Dalla yudullu dalalatan, to guide someone towards something. Ala nisbatihi, towards its attribution. So if you remember, we discussed in the beginning of the lesson that we add al-ya al-mushaddada at the end of the word to show the attribution of a person towards a country or towards a family. So for example, al-Hindu, and when we add al-ya al-mushaddada, it will be Hindiyun. Al-Iraqu will be Iraqiyun. Unsub, so that means it comes from Nasaba Yansubu. Nasaba Yansubu, that means that it is from Nasara Yansuru. That's why we have Unsub. Unsub ila al-asma al-atiyati. Now attribute towards the following nouns, or use attribution for the following nouns. All right, so as-Sudanu. Yes, please.
Sudaniyun.
Excellent. Sudaniyun. Al-Yabanu.
Yabaniyun.
Yabaniyun. Al-Nahwu.
Nahwiyun.
Nahwiyun. Okay, and this is a little bit different. We have discussed about it. An-Nabiyyu.
Nabawiyun.
Nabawiyun. It's already given in the lesson as well. We have it already. Al-Kuwaitu.
Kuwaiti.
Kuwaitiyun, yeah? Kuwaitiyun, okay. Kuwaitu is on the pattern of fu'ilu. So that means it's ismu tasghir, like Jubailu. Ad-dinu,
Ad-diniyu. Religious.
I will be dropped, huh? Diniyun, diniyun, religious person, okay, or religious. At-tarikhu,
Tarikhiyun.
Tarikhiyun, excellent. And al-akhu will be akhawiyun. And we discussed here that basically every noun in Arabic has to have like 3 root letters, minimum 3 root letters. So akhun, basically ya has been dropped. It is akhawun basically, and we know that when we say akhu, akha, akhi, then the waw comes back. And similarly, abun also consists of 3 letters. Waw is dropped because of the usage. So the Arabs, when a noun is used a lot, or a verb or a word, then normally they drop some part of it so that it's easy to pronounce. So it's basically akhawun, and that's why when we do the nisbah, it will be akhawiyun, brotherly. Okay, استخرج من الدرس أمثلة للنسب. From the lesson, there are around 3 examples. Pakistaniyun, yes. Al-Bukhariyu and Al-Nabawiyu. Okay, now please remember that when we use al, then there will be no tanween. And when we don't use al, then we will use tanween. So either it will be Al-Bukhariyu or it will be Bukhariyun. Al-Nabawiyu or Al-Nabawiyu or Nabawiyun. So when there is no al, then we can put tanween like Pakistaniyun. And when there is al, then there will be no tanween. They don't come together. Ukharu jam'u ukhra. Ukharu is the plural of ukhra. وهي ممنوعة من الصرف, and this is ممنوع من الصرف. قال تعالى فمن كان, and whoever was, منكم from you, مريضا, sick, أو or على سفر, on a journey, فعدة, then a prescribed number, من, from, أيام أخرى, from other days. So, but whoever of you is sick or is on a journey, fast the same number of other days. Okay, أيام أخرى. أيام is the plural of يوم, isn't it? And it's a broken plural, irrational. So why we have ukhra here? Why not ukhra? Because ukhra is used for singular feminine.
It's also plural, no?
Again?
No.
First of all, we have min. Okay, first of all, we have min, and ayyamin is majroor, and ukhra is also majroor. This is mamnoon min as-sarf. Mamnoon min as-sarf, that's why it doesn't have kasra. That's number 1. Number 2, my question is, why, for example, we have seen in the previous lessons that when we have the broken plural, then the noun has to be singular feminine. So it should be
non-adjective here.
Okay, still non-adjective. They are equal in 4 properties. For example, we say طالبة أخرى وطالبات أخر, right? طالبات is the sound plural. For the sound plural, we will use أخر, and for the singular, we will use أخرى. لا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى in the Quran. وزر أخرى. So وازرة is 1, and for وازرة we have أخرى. But here we have أخر. The answer is very simple. The whole grammar is derived from the Quran. So the rules that we take, they are all from the Quran, and in the Quran, both of them have been used. Look here. وَقَالُوا لَن تَمَسَّنِ النَّارُ إِلَّا أَيَّامًا مَعْدُودَةً. So as per the rule that we have learned so far, it should be مَعْدُودَةً. As per our rule that we have learned, now our rules are getting like extended, and now mashallah we are learning book number 3 and we are advanced learners. So now we need to know all these things which happen in the Quran. So وَذْكُرُ اللَّهَ فِي أَيَّامٍ مَعْدُودَاتٍ. So here ayyamin has the sound plural. So that means in the Quran, both of them are used, and that's why we can use both of them. In everyday life, in most of the times, we will use only the singular plural for the feminine, but in the Quran, both of them have been used. Similarly, in Surat Al Imran, we have ayatun muhkamatun, hunna ummul kitab. Hunna ummul kitab. Ayat is the plural of ayatun. So it shouldn't be hunna, it should be hiya. But again, we have this in the Quran. And we also have in Surah Al-Mujadala, ma hunna ummahatihim. Ma hunna ummahatihim, that's fine, because ummahat is the plural of umman. So we know that for hunna is used for the feminine plural. So that's why when you're reciting the Quran now, inshallah, please notice it down, and you will see that there are many reasons. One of the reasons is that it's Jamu Taksir here, Jamu Taksir for like numbers that are from 3 to 10, and both of them, these are used. And also sometimes for the emphasis, like hunna is used for emphasis when we use it for the broken plural of the feminine as well. So inshallah, once you go through and once you start learning and go further into the inshallah study of the Quran, then you will figure out more about it. So now we have seen that we can also use the singular feminine, and we can also use for the broken plural, we can use both. We can use ma'dudatun, and we can also use ma'dudatun. Ta'ammal ma yali. Don't be surprised, yani. Please take it as something like a nice or a beautiful surprise, because we have been learning from the beginning that the broken plural is always treated as singular feminine, but you know that the rules are always, they have some exceptions as well, and all the rules have been derived from the Quran, and that's why we don't need to worry about it. In fact, we must be happy about it. Yastati'u, he can. Tastati'u, you can. And astati'u, I can. Or tastati'u, she can. It can be also translated as she can. So here now the Shaykh is introducing us to the derived forms of the verb. And inshallah, slowly but surely we will start, I think they start from lesson number 12 or 13. So this is the 10th form of the verb. Man yastati'u an yaktuba darsa ala saburati bi khattin wadihin. Man yastati'u, who is able to, an yaktuba, to write, ad-darsa, the lesson, ala saburati, on the board, bi khattin wadihin, with clear handwriting. So who can write on the board with clear handwriting? Irfan can do it, I know that. أتستطيع أن تسوق شاحنة يا زبير? Can you drive a truck, O Zubair? Saqa yasuqu, sawqan, to drive. فهو سائق. سائق is used for the driver, and it is also used in the Quran as well, the leader. So أتستطيع أن تسوق شاحنة يا زبير? O Zubair, are you able to drive a truck or a lorry? هذه الرسالة بخط رديء. This message is in poor writing. لا أستطيع أن أقرأها. I am not able to read it. أتستطيع أن تقرأها أنت يا براء? Are you able to read it, O Bara? تقرأها أنت تقرأ. So this is also used for التوكيد. أتستطيعين أن تغسلي هذه الملابس اليوم يا ليلى? Are you able to wash these clothes, O Layla? So تستطيعين for أنت تستطيعين. Are you able to wash these clothes, O Layla? تأمل ما يلي. Now we have to reflect on the following. صلى يصلي, and فعل الأمر will be صلي. Who remembers this verb form? Which verb form is this?
The naqis, fil naqis.
Fil naqis, excellent. But which verb form is this? Is this number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? It's number 2. On the portion of
tasliman,
takliman. This is salla yusalli tasliyatan. Okay, tasliyatan. Okay, because this is basically sallaya yusalli you. Yeah, so we know that when we have naqis, then the changes take place, and we will discuss, and we have already discussed about the changes as well. So salla yusalli tasliyatan means to pray, and fi'l al-amr will be salli for the singular masculine, and for the feminine it will be salli, so it will be extended ya. And for the masculine, it will be salli. So that's why we say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So don't please extend it because it is Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So we don't have to extend it because the extended form is used for the feminine. Asallayta dhuhra ya Husaynu. Did you pray dhuhr, O Husayn? Sallaytu fil masjid al-harami. I prayed in Masjid al-Haram. Wa fil masjid al-Nabawi, and in Masjid al-Nabawi al-Sharif. وأحب, and I love, أن أصلي. So here it is الضمة الفتحة الظاهرة because of أن, yes. وأحب أن أصلي في المسجد الأقصى بإذن الله, and I love to pray in Masjid al-Aqsa بإذن الله, with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. صلي بنا يا شيخ. What will be the translation?
Yeah, pray with us. Pray with us, O Sheikh.
Please lead the prayer, O Sheikh.
Yes.
Can you please be the Imam? Please be the Imam. And because when we say Salli Bina, that means you are nominating someone to be the Imam to lead the prayer. So basically, Imamun means the leader of the prayer. So that's why it will be Salli Bina Ya Shaykhu. O Sheikh, please lead us in the prayer. Please lead us in the prayer. لا تصلي الفرائض في البيت. Don't pray obligatory prayers at home. So this is fi'l al-amr, and also ya has been dropped. And لما أصلي العصر. Yes.
This is Nahia.
Yes, la nahya. Yes, what did he say? Al-amr? Yeah, I said al-amr. Yes, la nahya. Okay, thank you. لما أصلي العصر. What about this sentence?
Not yet. I pray. No, Lamma,
Till
not
now.
yet. No?
Till now,
Not yet.
not yet. I have prayed as a prayer.
I haven't prayed Asr yet. Okay, so please remember that when lamma is used with the present, it means yet. And when it is used with the past, it means then. You remember that? So lamma, or if you remember that lamma is basically from al-huruf al-jazima. Al-jazima, like lam. Okay? Lam usalli al-asra, I didn't pray asr. Lamma usalli al-asra, I haven't prayed asr yet. So lamma, when it is used with the present, it means yet. And after lamma, the verb will be chopped. It is the ending, is sakin. So what is sakin out here? It was basically usalli. Yes, usalli. Usalli, I pray. Nusalli, we pray. So because of lamma, the ya has been dropped. So lamma usalli al-asra, and now the kasra is there to connect it with al. I haven't prayed asr yet. Alhamdulillah, we have done lots of exercises, couldn't complete our lesson. So inshallah, in the following lesson, hopefully we will complete it, and we will try to start the next lesson as well. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.